I lost my mother when I was 10 years old. She passed away from an accidental overdose. And honestly, it changed the trajectory of my childhood. My story and the people, the guests that I have, their stories would assist people in different areas where they're uncomfortable. My show is to give them a voice, to vocalize what it is that they do, to vocalize their businesses, to exhibit who they are. They are hidden gems in the community. We'll be talking about anything from relationships to families to owning businesses and being full-time entrepreneurs, the whole nine. I'm a writer, I'm a business owner, I'm a mother of two. I am an innovator, cultivator, developer, determined. I'm Sandra Morrison, aka Sandra the author. Welcome to Sitting with Sandra.
Hello, and thank you for joining us again with another segment on Sitting with Sandra. I am Sandra Morrison, your host, aka Sandra the author, and we are here with my beautiful mother, Miss Jacqueline Morrison. You want me to say Jackie or Jacqueline?
Please.
All right, she's Jackie today. So, Mom, we are going to be discussing blended families.
Okay.
One of our favorite topics.
All right.
How amazing.
Yes.
So, as some of you may know, we are a blended family, but this is my mother. And how long have you and Dad been married?
Since 2006.
It's like going on 18 years.
Mhm.
So, my parents have been married going on 18 years. How has that been?
Amazing. An absolutely amazing journey. Literally, it's been amazing.
Must be nice.
Ups and downs, but overall, it's been absolutely amazing.
Must be nice.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mom, tell me, how did you feel blending your family for the first time?
Nervous, scared, wondering if I was going to be prepared, right? Wondering what to expect, right? Because literally blending our families, what it really meant was blending children. So there was, at the time of marriage, 5 children, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 children.
Yes.
Because we didn't have BJ yet.
We didn't have the accident.
As well as 5 sets of parents.
Really?
5 sets of parents.
Dang.
Okay.
Okay.
So it wasn't just, because when you're blending a family, it's not just you blending the children.
Right.
You're blending the parents as well, right? Because you're co-parenting, or there's a set of parents for every child. So literally, we have 5 sets of parents. So
Woo.
it was challenging, to say the least, but definitely well worth it.
Whew. And so you guys have 6 children.
6
with
children,
all of
yes.
us combined.
Yes.
And you guys are grandparents now. How
We
does
are.
that feel?
Being a grandparent?
Yes.
Oh, it feels great. No responsibility. No, absolutely no responsibility.
So,
Right.
so you don't want to go by grandma. What do you want to go by?
Nana. I'm Nana.
Okay.
I like
okay.
Nana.
So you are Nana.
Yeah.
And what made you go by Nana?
Because I felt it was still traditional. Because I know there's all these new names, Glamour and different names like that. But I felt that grandma's grandma, right? And so I felt that Nana wasn't, I'm a young grandma, right? But I felt that Nana was still appropriate for the position that I'm holding.
Yes. Amazing. So let's talk about grandparenthood for just a second. So the transition from first time grandparenthood to now, what's the difference?
Oh, what's the difference, huh? Yeah, what's the difference? It's a big difference, I think, because when it's your first grandchild, it's like, this new baby coming in, and it's our first time, and we're just, of course we're excited about all of our grandchildren,
Right.
but just that first one. It's like when you have your first child, right? You're
Right.
so excited, and everything is so nitpicky, this, that, and the other when it comes to your first child, and so now we've added on 5 5 grandchildren. We love every minute of it. Because they all have their different personalities. I love the fact that the last few are, all around the same age.
Yep.
So I absolutely love that, because they're going to grow up together as hopefully as close cousins, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, the more you get, though, it gets more challenging.
Yeah.
And absolutely more challenging to your pockets. And just more challenging even with your time, right? Because, it's hard to spend time with 6 different grandkids, equals amount of time and all of these things. So it does get more challenging, but we make it work. you make it work.
Yes.
So
That's
so
amazing.
It's great. Building a
So-
legacy. I love it.
Yes, the bougie Nana who has my daughter
the
addicted to
bougie
Starbucks.
Nana.
Okay. And so you guys are amazing grandparents, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit more about what it was like blending families from start to finish. So where you were versus where you are now.
So it's very different because when the kids were little, it was a lot, of course, easier, because you can just tell the kids what to do, this, that, and the other. Blending the family together, having them come together. But then as you get older, everyone goes their separate ways. So it's hard to bring them all together again. Everybody has their own life. You also have to think about when you're blending families, the other parents, because you have to share, right? You have to share time with the other parents. And so you just can't hog up all of the time. And so, growing up during Christmas and holidays and things like that, even now with weddings and baby showers and, just all sorts of things. And so you just have to really, there has to be some really good agreements in there with all sets of parents and great communication. That's number one. Just like great communication, you have to have that in your marriage. You have to have great communication with the other parents as well. And it's not always easy because, do you deal with baby mama drama and baby daddy drama? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit up here and say it was a piece of cake. I'm not going to sit up here and say that you don't deal with no drama when you're blending families, but you absolutely do, especially when it's new and it's fresh for everybody because you don't know what you're dealing with, how you're dealing with it. You don't know what to expect. Right. You don't know any of these things, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you've never blended the family together before, neither sets of parents, and then you're dealing with, okay, well, your ex now has a wife or your ex now has a husband. And how are you going to deal with those situations? So, again, it was challenging at times and it still is challenging now. We're not done. We're still blended. We're still going, right? And so every chapter in life, every stage in life is a new chapter. And so you're learning something different and you're continuously growing, right? And so again, when you're little, you're dealing with the birthday parties and this, that, and the other. Then as they get older, you're dealing now with the weddings and the baby showers and stuff like that. So I think you just, first of all, you got to have God. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. There'd be some nights you would be on your knees like, Lord Jesus. Seriously.
I was the kid who prompted all the prayers.
But for several different situations, and even between your spouse, one thing I'll tell you that Dad and I did, and when we first got married, is we made a vow. We made a vow that ain't none of y'all little crumb scratchers gonna break us apart. Period. Y'all was crumb scratchers then, right? Not anymore. Y'all beautiful. But literally, we made a vow that we would not allow our children or even, the other parents to break us up. And so we hold on to that. And I think that's really what held us together in times of turmoil, in those challenging times. That's what held us together because we knew at the end of the day, y'all were going to be gone and grown. You're going to have your boyfriends and the girlfriends and all of this stuff is going to be happening. And then what would we do? Be separated, be apart because we allowed the children to drive a wedge, between us or what have you. And so we made that vow with each other. So it's important as husband and wife, when you're blending a family, to sit down and talk about stuff like that. Talk about, things like, how are we going to deal with this? And no, you can't cover everything at one time.
Right.
It doesn't work like that because there's some things that are just going to come up and you got to deal with it as it comes. But there should be some ground rules, like some foundation laid. And part of our foundation was we will not let our children come in between us.
That's good. That's a gem because a lot of times you see a lot of the divorces or start because, well, your daughter did this or your son did that, or even when it's not a blended family, just in general, well, the kids are acting this way and I have this view on parenting and I have that view on parenting. There's one thing that I can say, and that is I've never seen you guys disagree on parenting me. Like, well, if you say something, no, that's not right, you shouldn't do that. and then that would cause for me to not respect the other parent's authority. So I've never witnessed that. I've never had to deal with that. It's always, okay, well, whatever dad says is what it is. Even if you didn't agree at the time, I've never heard you like interject or try to, you know what I mean, stop him from disciplining. And so that is one thing that I do respect. Like, it's a team effort, and you guys can see that. Like, no matter what, I got your back, but when the door shut, I'm gonna tell you that you was wrong. You know,
and that's how it should be in any situation, even for just a married couple, period, that has children. You know, you first of all, the husband is the head of the household. You know what I'm saying? And even if I did disagree, whatever, you don't have those types of disagreements. And now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's good to have healthy boundaries and disagreements in front of your children. Not that you're disagreeing with each other, but maybe opposing sides, because your kids will learn how to have disagreements, right? Because sometimes the kids can grow up and they've never seen that, so they don't know how to have a disagreement when they get older and have a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Because they've never seen that, right? But for the most part, we won't have disagreements or yell at each other or scream at each other or fight in front of the children. Well, we don't even do that behind closed doors. But what I'm saying is, you never do that in front of your kids, because you're right. It does lessen the respect of that other child for that other parent, for the step parent. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, my daddy said this and I don't got it, you know, so it comes up, or, you know, well, my mama said I don't have to, da, 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 da. And so that's a lot of times where a lot of the friction comes in, at when the mom and the dad can't agree, you know, or they're not on the same page. And believe me, children are smart, right? Kids are smart. So they can pick up on those things, right? And they will play you on that stuff, okay? They will play you. So it's important that, you know, the husband and wife are on the same page.
That's amazing. What would you say is like the best part of our blended family? Because I know we have so many different challenges. Like, I have two sisters that are the same age. They are 9 months apart. And they are like day and night. And then I have just on this side, I have two younger brothers. And then I have one older sister. I'm the second oldest on both sides, but mainly on this side, I am the second oldest. And so it's so different when you see the different personalities, the different stages of life. And I was the first one to have a child out of all of my siblings. So our journeys were all different. My older sister and I are 5 years apart. And then I'm 5 years older than my two younger sisters. And then they are 4 years older than one of the brothers. And then Jalen is what?
BJ or Jalen?
Jalen is how many years older than BJ?
4
years older than BJ. So we have big age gaps. Like, they're not small age gaps. And so you deal with so many different disagreements and so much bickering. And it's like, oh my goodness, you know, like, my sister probably still views me as a kid, even though I'm grown. You know, she's like, okay, well, you're still like my baby in her head. But I know that there's so many different levels and so many different scenarios and situations right now with all of us and the changes that are happening. And you guys have almost all grown children. So you guys are close to, girl.
You better put that out there real quick.
So you guys are close to empty nester stages.
Yes.
So what has been the journey is not over. It's far from over, because once the youngest is an adult, that's when it really begins. So what would you say thus far has been the best part of blended families?
The best part is when we all come together. Like, I just love when we all are together. Couple years ago when everyone was there for Thanksgiving, like, that was just...
You know what my favorite memory was Christmas before Grandpa passed. So I have videos and we were trying to guess the word, and Dad, the word was Bluebell, like the ice cream. And so we're like, Dad, Janae's nickname, and Dad was like, Johnny Bunny. Like, what? Why would that be the word? But you have literally all of us in the living room laughing. The only person missing was Bree, and that's because she didn't live out here. But you have all of us in the living room laughing, and you have Grandpa in his chair laughing, and that was like my favorite memory. I think we laughed like the whole entire night.
And that's, you know, and I just want to mention this real quick too, because again, you have to remember, blended families is just not about the children. We talked about that. It's not just about even the other parents that we're all blending together, right? But it's about extended family members too. You understand what I'm saying? So when we got married, probably less than a year or a year maybe after we got married, my father-in-law, he came to live with us. right?
Oh,
And so
yeah,
he was with
grandpa
us
did.
for 14 years until he passed away. And so we weren't just blending the children and the parents, but we were also blending our parents into that as well.
Yeah.
You know, what if your parent have to come, what if one of the parents have to come and live with you? And so then you're also working with that too.
Yeah.
Because now, you know, at one time, I think we had maybe 8 people in the house, maybe 6, 7, 8 people in the house
It was
at one
8 of
time.
us,
And so
yeah.
you have, you know, I don't even know how I did it.
Yeah, I was
think
just
about it,
telling
I'm like-
somebody earlier. I'm like, I only have 2. My parents had 6 kids, and then kept everybody else's kids.
Come on now.
We had a
Everybody
house
else
full of kids every
Yes.
single weekend, and I'm sitting there like, man, these 2 are driving me crazy. Mama had a house full
house
of kids.
full, yeah.
Every morning we had, especially on weekends, mom and dad cooked. For breakfast, we would figure it out. We would kind of rig it for lunch, and then for dinner, you guys like you literally always cook. And so I'm like, dang, how did you
don't
manage all of
don't
that?
know.
And then you still went to worked for the district, and you taught at night. Dad did the school bus driving, and he did Pizza Hut. And then you guys still brought it home at the end of the night, and we're like, even though we tired, we just gonna give y'all our energy, helping with homework, getting everybody ready for bed. And I'll be thinking like, man, by the time 9 o'clock come, I'm ready to give up. So I'll be like,
Not give
I'm
up.
like, sheesh, like, how did you guys manage it?
From nothing but God, I'm telling you, because, and then you have to remember when I married your dad, I was only 26 years old,
Whew.
right? So I met him at 25. And so I instantly became a mother of 5 children at 25 years old. And so, but you know, one thing about me though is I always loved kids.
Yeah.
So I've always had kids around me. Always, you know, that's why kids were always at the house. I was over the youth at the church. And so I've always loved kids. So I think that really helped me too, you know, to embrace you guys and love on you guys, you know, and then having structure. Like I was raised with structure. Like my mom, we had, you know, our papers on the wall with the time to do this, the time to do that. Mama was a drill sergeant, okay? You know, but we had to because she was working, so we had to do what we had to do on our own. And so with that structure, and I think that kind of helped too with raising you guys, is having that structure. You know, we had times where it was bedtime. We had times you get up, this is what you do next. When you come home, do your homework. You know, there was always that structure that was put in place. Was it always easy? No, because some of the difficult moments or challenging moments, I would say, would be, you know, of course, when you went to your grandma's, or when Janae went, you know, back home or whatever it was. And then when they come back, it's kind of different, right? Because when you're in one environment, you can be one way, but then when you're in this environment, you have to be another way, right?
Yeah.
And so my mom used to call it, got to reprogram them, got to reprogram them.
Recondition.
Recondition them.
Yeah.
Into that environment, you know. But you know, you just, by the grace of God, you get through it. We were not perfect parents. We never claimed to be perfect parents. We made mistakes. We did things we probably shouldn't have done, or we could have done better. But you just do what you feel is best at the time.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. You guys did your best for sure. And I don't even want to like brag on myself, but
yes, this is what we did.
it's me. It is I. But you guys are great parents. You guys are still young parents too, very young. So
Girl, yes,
you guys
honey.
are, oh
Not a day over
Jesus,
21.
girl, bye. I'm pushing 30, so imagine.
That's why
Imagine,
everybody say we sisters.
girl, bye.
So I was at Kendall's practice the other day, and they were like, Kendall was like, they were like, oh, is this your older sister, Kendall? I was like, yeah.
Girl, not too much. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Mama, what advice would you have for anyone who is looking to blend a family, or a younger person, of course, who is about to marry and they are about to blend their families? What is the number one advice you give them?
Pray, honey. Listen, get you some knee pads because you're going to be on the floor.
Oh my
Get you some oil. Put the oil in them kids' bathtub. No. I'm serious, though, for real. But no, you know, just have those hard conversations, you know, with your fiance, you know, so that you guys can lay that foundation down.
Yeah.
You know, understand each other. Trust is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Trust is huge. And what I mean by that is Dad had to trust me that I was not going to harm his children.
Right.
I had to trust him that he wasn't going to do anything to harm my children. right? And so, because I mean, kids is something else.
Oh yeah.
They could be something else, you know.
Oh yeah.
They did this to me, or the stepmama did that.
It don't even got to be the stepmama. The kids be accusing you nowadays.
Kids, you know what I'm saying? Or what about kids, you know, them each other, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, not taking sides.
Oh, that's
you know,
good.
it's important not to take sides with the kids. You know, what is right? At the end of the day, what is right? And if you can't find what's right, then both y'all wrong. So both y'all in trouble, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and just not putting heavy weights on certain children because they're mine or because they're yours. So you believe everything they say, or you putting heavy weights on them. You know what I mean?
That's good.
And so it's really important, you know, to have that fair playing ground and be on the same page, because a lot of times, again, if you're not on that same page, them kids will break you up so quick, honey. Listen, you know. And then you over there looking crazy, and they going about their business with their girlfriends and boyfriends, you know, and stuff. Because y'all be leaving us, and we just be like,
I was out at 18 and ain't been back.
And just gone, you know.
Amen.
So, but yeah, I'm not mad at you. But yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, amazing. So you have dropped some great gems on us. We appreciate you for stopping by. Everybody, this is my beautiful mother. Look at her. So again, thank you for stopping by, Mom. Thank you all for tuning in to talk about blended families. And we do have more for you next time on Sitting with Sandra.